I'm the cable company.
And I'm your city. Over the years, the cable company and I have made agreements to give them
meeting of the City of Savage Parks, Recreation, and Natural Resources Commission. I officially call the meeting to order. Mr. Boatman, will you call roll? Katie, will you call roll?
Sure. Chair Sorensen,
Here.
Commissioner Heineman,
Here.
Commissioner Lund will not be here tonight. Commissioner Peterson,
Here.
Scheer, here. Sogren,
Here.
Strayer,
Here.
Mason,
Here.
and Chow.
Here.
Thank you. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Do we have any additions to the agenda?
None from staff, Chair.
Thank you. Commissioners? Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda, Strayer.
And a second?
Second, Peterson.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, our agenda is approved. Next up is approving the minutes from our February 24th, 2025 meeting. So we were just talking, if it feels like we haven't been here in a while, it's because we haven't been here since February 24th. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes from that meeting?
Yes. Shows
Mason?
Commissioner Chow as absent as present.
He was,
It shows that he was both absent and present in the minutes.
oh,
Wow.
That's impressive.
two places at once.
I believe you were absent for the last meeting,
February?
Yes, my kids were sick. Yep.
Okay.
so
All right.
I would propose that we revise the minutes to reflect his absence.
Impressive
Do
catch.
we need a motion for that?
So, Chair, what you'll do is just ask for approval with that change, and if the minutes are approved, staff will just make that change in the permanent record.
All right. All those in favor of making that change, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Staff, would you please update the minutes to reflect what has been mentioned? Any other additions or corrections to the February minutes? All right, can I have a motion to approve the amended minutes?
Motion to approve the amended minutes from February, Strayer.
And a second?
Second, Sjogren.
Thank you. All those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
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 All those opposed? Minutes from February 24th, 2025 are approved. Our new business for tonight is to recommend to the City Council to adopt the updates to the field scheduling policy. And Mr. Chris Still is here to present on that for us. Thank you.
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. Yes, this evening we're going to give you an update on some changes we made to our field scheduling policy. It's about 20 years old, so it was time to take a look at updating it and getting it up to speed. So the city coordinates and schedules athletic fields and facilities owned by the city. The purpose of this policy is to establish the guidelines in order to manage the fields and facilities. As stated, this policy was last updated in 2003, and a lot's changed in the city as well as the organizations. Some of the youth association participation numbers have changed. Savage has developed new parks, and with that, then there's new ball fields. And we have new users, local and outside of the city limits. The objective for this was to define fields and athletic space for people to do their sports, which includes facilities, ball fields, ice rinks, tennis courts, that space to support Parks and Recreation programs and our Savage residents, as well as preserve the facilities and offer minimizing wear and tear in the space, and to prevent overuse while conserving the maintenance costs. The policy, the goal of the policy is to allocate the fields for us as a city organization, and then to minimize wear and tear. In order to achieve this, we created a priority process, which is different than the previous policy. So with the priority levels, again, it gives the city first dibs on our space, and then we would coordinate through local associations down to outside organizations. The city still reserves the right to leave space open for residents to use as they need, as well as we also hold the right of not allowing a group in and/or not to accept the request. Priority 1, as stated, is the City of Savage, events, programs, special events. So anything that we choose to do programming-wise, we would have first dibs. Local youth associations that are recognized by the city, you may be familiar with, the BAC, the Burnsville Athletic Club, Prior Lake Soccer Club, as well as the Prior Lake Athletic for Youth. Those are what we consider to be the big 3 organizations that we have a partnership with. We do a lot of programming and cost sharing with them. You may be familiar that they have to have X amount of hours in the sports center as an agreement that they created. So we work with them, so we recognize them as our priority 2. Priority 3 would be an established tax-paying businesses and commercial organizations related to athletics. You may be familiar now, Minnesota MASH is now here. They are specifically about sports, so they have the ability now to put in requests for field space as well. Priority 4 would be Savage residents, also for if they just want to get out and play. Sometimes we get picnic shelter requests and they want to use a field with a large group of people. So they're allowed to have that 4th priority to get onto a space prior to the last group, priority 5, which is any outside organization and or a team or a group that has left an organized organization and they're now on their own looking for field space. They may or may not have Savage residents with that team, but we do get quite a bit of requests from outside our city limits for requests as well. So the changes that this current policy, what we updated was, again, working more with a partnership and not necessarily with residents' percentage. The old policy indicated that they had to have X amount of Savage residents on their team or in their organization. This is now more of a partnership with those big three groups and having that relationship with them. And then also the new users that are coming into play. We want to recognize that Minnesota MASH is a Savage business and we want to accommodate their requests prior to any outside organization that is coming from a Bloomington or a Apple Valley or something like that. The organizations will still need to have a copy of the insurance policy that we would have, identify that and hold harmless the city of Savage up to $1.5 million for property damage and bodily harm. Procedure is simple, just a written request to me that we'll look at and we'll go through the process of seeing if it would fit after, depending on what priority they are. If we can get them to fit, we would certainly do that. If not, we would let them know and they could look elsewhere for some space. And then the delegation of authority, the city administrator or the public works director is authorized to make any amendments and changes to the policy and then approved by city council. So that's sort of this quick summary of what the policy and the changes that we made. you have any questions?
All right, thank you, Chris. Commissioners, what questions do you have for him? Commissioner Peterson?
Thank you. By the way, I really like the idea of having a clear priority that eliminates any perceived favoritism, things of that sort. Just absolutely, just perfect. One question I have is just from a practical manner. So let's say that, now I know, Savage, of course, knows when they have things planned out. But if a priority 3 has asked for a field, and then 2 weeks later, a priority 2 comes in and asks for that field, is it first come, first serve based upon request time, or just curious?
So, Chair and Commissioners, good question. That does come up. I do confirm with the big 3 multiple times that I've gotten their last requests. It's a very crazy time, the beginning of May, when they are trying to put all their schedules together. And so I work with the 3 contacts each organization. So I'm not working with every coach or every volunteer. I keep it simple. I'm going to just work with 3 people. Have I gotten your requests? And if they tell me they're waiting on one more schedule, I don't move forward until I get confirmation from all 3 that I have their information. But yes, I do get the other priorities information, and I just sit on it until I can actually move forward.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Other questions? Anybody? All right, thank you, Chris. I think we need to vote on recommending this to the City Council. Is there someone who would make that motion?
Motion to approve the updates to the
Field scheduling.
field scheduling policy, Strayer.
All right, and is there a second to that motion?
Second, Shear.
All right. Any further discussion for the motion on the table? All those in favor of recommending the updated policy to City Council, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, motion passes. As a commission, we will recommend the updated policy to City Council. Thank you. Next up is the Public Works Director update. Mr. Boatman, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair, Commissioners. Good evening. I haven't got a chance to talk yet, which is shocking for me in a meeting like this. Quick update for you on a couple of things. Really exciting news. Creek Hill Park is officially open. The playground is open. It opened last week. It was really exciting to see the kids playing on it. Actually, they were playing on it before it was actually done, but they were out there playing. And, you know, one of our staff walks by that park every night just on a nightly walk for his own enjoyment. And when he walks by it, he said he's just thrilled to see the number of kids and families that are out there at the park, which is great. And they're utilizing the whole park that's there, excuse me, and usable. Right now, the grass hasn't really grown all that well yet, so we anticipate with the rain that we've had recently, some more seeding that we'll be doing, if our residents can stay off the seeded area as best as they can. Once that grass takes hold, there'll be lots more room for more activity out there. But they're using the picnic shelter, they're using the playground, and it's just been great. The neighborhood is abuzz. The shade trees that we talked about, excuse me, when we developed the site, we had to remove many trees due to, there were ash trees or damaged apple trees and such. And by all that removal, we wanted to replant. And so those have been replanted. Let's keep knock on wood that we get a lot of rain. Our staff are watering the trees. And so hopefully, because that park does not have irrigation, hopefully those trees will take root and grow really, really well and really fast. Like I said, we're waiting for the grass to grow. We are making some strides there, working with our contractor to help get that reseeded. Get it the last fall. We reseeded and it didn't rain, and then nothing happened. We really didn't get any snow over the winter time. The seed didn't really take hold. Some is growing back now that we had over almost 3 inches of rain last week, and then we're going to reseed it again. So hopefully that will all get going here. We did send it out to all of you, but want to show a quick video that our communication staff put together on the Creek Hill Park opening. Oh, sure. It played before. Bear with me. So with any questions or comments on Creek Hill Park, the playground, the shelter, or anything that we've done out there, hopefully you've all had a chance to either drive by or go out and walk or even play on the swings. There's a few pieces of equipment that are still yet to come. In fact, I think we got messaged over the weekend that the shipping company is trying to schedule a shipping date to get to us. It's some of our 2 to 5-year-old ground equipment, but the major structures are in. The installer did a quick digging of the holes already. There's plywood over the holes, and then the pea gravel and wood chips are on top of that. So users right now will have no idea that new things are coming, but when they actually get here, the installer can quick move the wood chip, install it. Have to be roped off for like a day to make sure that the footings take hold. But then, I mean, kids can still play on the rest of the playground. But then once that's ready to go, the entire park will be ready. We are planning a grand opening of that entire park for this September. We wanted to give that darn grass a chance to grow a little bit. Plus, we already scheduled one of our programs called Treats and Tunes out there for September. So please plan to join us in September. If you don't know the date for Treats and Tunes, check out your Park and Rec brochure or the city's website, or give Katie a call tomorrow. She can help you out. We would love to see you all there in September for our grand opening of Creek Hill Park.
Chair, I would like to make a comment, if I may.
Commissioner Street?
Just want to commend the Public Works. I'm impressed with the project from conception to engaging the general public for comment to the scheduling and getting it done on time, and looks very impressive. So again, kudos to the staff, and keep Savage looking good.
Thank you. I'll pass it along to the staff that were involved in that project. One quick side note, if you recall during our public engagement where we had the neighborhood come in and kind of helped you guys rate the playgrounds, we had an organization come in represented by one woman. She came in and handed me a piece of paper, and on the piece of paper they asked for a fence around the playground. And I said, a fence around a playground? We don't fence off our playgrounds. And she explained why. And her explanation is that she represents a nonprofit organization called See Me Neurodiverse, and it's about children and adults who are neurodivergent. It's a very large umbrella, but people who think differently, whose brains are divergent, neurologically divergent from everybody else's. I say it that way. I don't know the better way to say it, because I'm not going to say the word normal, because Lord knows my brain isn't normal. So we want to just, what they wanted to do was say there's a need in your community. Since that time, and while we did not put up a fence around this playground, we have met with them individually. I have gone out to one of their workshops, and just today we had them in and doing a workshop for our staff here at the city, for the entire city, not just Public Works and Parks and Recreation, but for the entire city, of understanding neurodiversity and understanding how to work with individuals who are neurodivergent. And some of the terms you may be familiar with are autism, ADHD, people with learning disabilities, people who think differently, whose brains need just a little bit different way to deal with the world that others maybe don't. The world is designed for people who think a certain way. People who have the neurodivergent brains can think about it differently, and all have strengths, all have challenges. And one of the things is some of the kids who have some neurodiversity tend to have a challenge of elopement. Some very specific kids, and meaning they run off. And so parents are asking for a place where kids can go and be secure within that playground and not have a fear of them running out into the street, into a parking lot, into a lake or river or whatever. So we are working with that group right now to figure out how to do that. Because it's not as simple as saying, let's just slap up a fence around there. There's a lot of safety considerations, liability considerations, none of which are excuses. They're all just obstacles for us to get over to make this happen. And I would anticipate once funding and all those other things are figured out, that we will have some fenced in, at least one fenced in playground to meet that need that's forthcoming. So just a little side note on that one.
If I may ask a question, Chair Sorensen, are there any examples anywhere in the Twin Cities of meeting that particular need?
Yes, Chair and Commissioners, yes. Most of them are schools or daycare centers. And so they are utilizing a lot of the early childhood center locations that have a fenced playground. Most, I shouldn't say most, many municipal parks are not. And so there are a lot of reasons for that, but that doesn't mean that we can't figure out a way to make that happen in one or maybe two, depending on what we would like, and the reaction from the park and the people that live around that park in our community. So a lot of work to do. It's not, I mean, it's a simple request, but what they're asking for just takes a little creativity. So we're not going to say no, we're going to say not yet.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one question. In the video, did I see something about Alex's lemonade stand? Is that a part of the playground structure? I didn't remember that. Do you want to talk about that?
I will. Thank you, Chair, Commissioners. In the playground, many of the pieces of equipment have some specific elements to them that is done by the manufacturer. So part of the equipment that we purchased has some of that pre-printed, pre-graphic things on there. I think you saw like a skydiver or something like that. The lemonade stand is kind of a fun 2 to 5 year old, 5 to 12 year olds can certainly play with it, but it's kind of an area for kids to be able to go and pretend like they're selling lemonade.
Okay.
Kind of like a storefront. So that
Alex's lemonade stand is a nonprofit, and I think I read that Creek Hill families support it, so I was just curious about that.
there's some really cool things that happen because of that. That actually came from the manufacturer. I wasn't going to throw that in there just because I didn't know if there was an actual connection there, and I don't want to say, yeah, absolutely, we did that.
Sorry.
But I think,
Cool thing still.
yeah, it's a really cool thing. It just worked out really cool. So working together with the manufacturer, we've got some really neat things for kids to play at.
Great.
Imagination and creativity abound. Some quick more updates for you. Registration is going great for summer programs. Katie can attest that most of our programs are full. We have wait lists for a lot of our programs. Dan and Chris, our recreation staff, have done a great job of planning out a great year for us, a great summer season for us, and so things are going well. Chris has also done a great job of recruiting. Chris and Dan have done a great job of recruiting for our recreation programming staffing. Maintenance staff started today. From a park side of things, natural resource side of things, we actually have one seasonal staff working directly with Jonah, our natural resource coordinator, I guess his title is, and then 7 or 8 that are working in our parks program, or in the parks maintenance side of things. And then Chris is going to hire a whole slew of young people to come work for us. So it's going to be a great summer for us. And fortunately, I think we're kind of hitting that sweet spot. I don't want to speak too soon, but we are staffed well for this year. It's still a challenge, but we're doing really well. I said it out loud. Chris is yelling at me from the back here. Quick facilities update for you. We are entering into and have already begun the incredibly busy season at the Environmental Learning Center. It's graduation season galore over there. So not only are we actually having people have their reservations and having their events, but now it's a time for them to come in and register for the upcoming year's events. So it's been crazy busy, but Katie has done an excellent job leading us through the reservation process. Our picnic shelters are very busy. Whether it's reservations or not, our picnic shelters are being used. Our parks are being used very well. The one way we measure that not only is just by anecdotally seeing people, but our park maintenance staff will come back from doing rounds, which means they go and they empty all the trash. They say, holy cow, we filled up the trash truck, which is great. That's what we want. We want our parks to be used and people to enjoy our parks. The sports center season is completed. The dome came down a couple weeks ago, and we, knock on wood, for the future, we had a glorious day. We had over 70 individuals from our contractor, the Institutional Community Work Crew from the Department of Corrections of the state of Minnesota. They came out. They were here and gone by 1 o'clock, something like that, in the afternoon, which that's when the majority of work is done. So we're very excited to have that be done for the season. Everything's put away, and now we're moved on to our open turf season, and it's been very well used again. And then finally, if you don't have any more questions for me on anything I reported on, I'm going to let Chris take the microphone again, and he's going to give you an update on the financials and participation for the Dome for the year.
Sounds good. Oh, Commissioner Peterson,
Pardon me.
sorry.
Just one real quick question. In terms of the turf, I agree, getting grass growing is tough in a non-irrigated park. Has the city arborist ever considered or talked about maybe doing a clover option, or is that just too weird for people?
Chair, Commissioners, forget what we call it. Yes, I'm going to just answer it that way. Yes, we have considered doing a low maintenance turf, if you will, and that can be a clover. We're doing two things right now. One is we've done some seeding for this down at Hidden Valley Park, at the archery range. And so what we're looking to do there is to see how it works, how does it look, what kind of aesthetic reaction do we get from people, and how does our maintenance staff know how to take care of that? What does the mowing cycle look like, and is it establishing itself? So before we did a whole park that was really visible, and that might be a huge contrast from neighbors' green lawns to park lawn that's full of clover, we wanted to make sure we knew what we were talking about. So we did that. The second thing we're doing is we're doing a test plot right now with the University of Minnesota Extension Service, and looking at some more different kinds of turf grass that can be grown that requires less watering, still looks nice, plays well, is good for parks. So we're sampling a lot of things and hopefully going to come up with a good solution for that. But it's a challenge. Grass needs water. We don't have irrigation out there. We're at the mercy of Mother Nature. And rain has just been really weird. It's just never, it's not like back in the day when it rained every week for about an inch and we were good. But of course, I don't know whenever it was like that. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Dill.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Boatman. Just a side note, talking about CME, the organization that Mr. Boatman was talking about. We actually are partnering with them this next dome season. They want to have 4 2-hour slots in the dome where it's just them. So we will be able to assist with them. We're going to get them into the dome for 8 hours. And they will be able to come and go as they wish. They can run around as they wish. There are 10 doors in there, but they're very hard to open. So we are working with them in the dome. We're going to get them some time in there and see where that goes. If it's a success or not, we can certainly move forward with it, continuing that in the future. Numbers. I know we like numbers, so I'm going to give you a bunch of numbers. The sports center season is typically the beginning of November through the end of April. This year, by far, it was probably one of our better years. We had over 100,000 people enter the facility. We had about 120 different individuals and groups that rented time with us. And what that means is Burnsville Athletic Club has 6 sports that will use it. So even though it says 120, the actual number of sports is more than that. Again, our big users, the big 3, Burnsville Athletic Club, Prior Lake Athletic for Youth, and Prior Lake Soccer, combined had over 1,400 hours of rental time. Our programs, city programs, Tot Time, we had over 3,700 participants, and that's on Tuesdays and Thursdays. $5 open play is typically Monday through Friday. We had over 5,400 participants. And then the open walk jog, which is free for anybody, whether you live here or not. And that's Monday through Friday as well. Either in the mornings or the afternoon, is over 8,700 participants. Hours of rental time, the full dome, which means it's the full-size soccer and the batting cages. We had over 1,000 hours rented just for that. And then individual field rentals was over 2,300 hours. In the batting cages, which is really towards the end of the spring, getting ready for season, is 734 hours. Revenue, you can see it's a 4-year comparison. This is probably one of the better years from a revenue standpoint. We had over $530,000 in revenues. Again, this is just at the end of COVID from 21 and 22, but after the COVID years, it did get back to regular numbers. So this is actually a pretty good year for us that we just had. Expenses, similar to the revenue chart, this is the last 4 years. You'll notice that the chart fluctuates quite a bit. The reason being is gas. I mean, we've talked quite a bit about natural gas at the sports center. That's one of the big reasons that the expenses does fluctuate. This year expenses was about $340,000, which is roughly about $190,000 below revenues. I don't want to say it's a profit because the dome doesn't make money. This doesn't take into account the paying back the bonds and depreciation, but it was definitely a very good year. Natural gas currently, this last season we were at $3.29 per decatherm, which is a very good price. One of our worst years was $7.22 per decatherm. And I think the highest gas bill I saw in that year was $56,000 in the month of January, just for 1 month. We have the 2 blowers blowing 24/7, and tying into that is, of course, the temperature outside. Weather is a big issue with the sports center. If it's colder outside, the blowers have to work harder just to try to maintain the set point of 59 degrees. And then any snow events. Snow events can be prolonged. The idea with that is it pushes, when it goes into snow mode, the blowers push air into the shell, make it harder, so the snow can melt off and slide. But if it's a heavy, wet snow, it takes longer. So those are the big factors in the gas bills. It's kind of a quick overview, but did you have any questions?
Thank you. Any questions, anyone? All right, thank you, Chris. Anything else, Mr. Boatman?
I have one other item for you, and I'll do it from here from the desk. Thank you, Chair, Commissioners. Some of you may have heard of an incident that occurred a couple weeks ago at Riverbend Park. I wanted to just clear up the air a little bit. There was a reported, it was reported to our police department that there was an individual there who brandished a firearm. There was no shooting. Nobody was shot. Nobody was injured. And that was reported to our police department. In response, our police department worked in collaboration with Scott County, and we have their mobile camera unit up over there. All of the efforts we have done since 2 years ago, when we had the incidences there, have really helped this process. Our community gardens were opening up just that week. More people were coming into the park. But what we realized, and we have known all along, the only way to stop this bad behavior is to say it is not welcomed here and to catch the bad actors. And that is a really, really challenging task. We believe that more presence by our police department, in which they have increased their directed patrols, or what they call their HOTS list, which means when they're not on an active call, they will go to these HOTS list places, and one is Riverbend Park. They're showing up. They're playing ball with the folks that are playing basketball. They're hanging out at the park. They're getting to know the neighbors. We have our camera there, trying to just observe and monitor what's happening in that park. And so long term, we think that is a solution that will help deter as well as apprehend the bad actors. And so we are exploring possibilities of cameras, not only at Riverbend, but at other parks within our community. That's something the council will be considering here coming up. It may not be able to come to you from a timing standpoint, but from a overall standpoint, the council has asked staff to look into this. I'm part of a task force here at the city that is working on this to get this done and get it in as soon as council directs us to do that. It will take some funding. My understanding is that we don't have a funding source for it identified yet. So we will be working in collaboration with our finance department to figure out where the funding will come from. So wanted to just let you know, we did have a reported incident up there, but we know that our police department is on top of it. They're working not only extremely hard on their own, but collaboratively with many other agencies in and around the Twin Cities, as well as our state and federal law enforcement agencies as well.
Thank you, Mr. Boatman. Does anyone else have any other business or questions? Okay, with that, our meeting is adjourned. And our next meeting will be Monday, June 23rd. Thank you, everyone.
It's just like some record.
Thank you.